Seeker who wants to learn more? Welcome to the Mystic School with SARA WISEMAN, where we dive deep into all things mystic and metaphysical. Here's Sarah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mystic School on this early January in 2023. Our topic for today is, how are you contributing? Learn why we are not here to hide out, isolate, or fit in. We are here to share ourselves, and that can be pretty scary for a lot of you guys listening. Sometimes we call this the Introverts Club here at the Mystic School. A lot of you guys who have gotten pretty used to being like the person in the room that's different, or the new age person in a family that's, very traditionally religious, or the new age person. I'm not even sure new age is the correct term to use necessarily, but the conscious person in a mainstream world. And so how does this work? We get bombarded by the parts of society that tell us how things are, that tell us how we should fit in. And for lots of us, this is not the world we're experiencing at all. For lots of us, we are very deeply involved with a world that is quite magical and quite interesting and quite a bit on different dimensional levels. And so how do we coordinate that? How do we be a part of the real mainstream world, the agreed upon paradigm, and yet also stay true to what's actually happening for us? I want to remind you that today is Free Readings Tuesday, and you can call in for your free reading to 888-298-5569. That's 888-298-5569. I'd be happy to talk with you about anything that's going on in your world. So here's some examples of how things might work. So we might be more involved in the mystic world, for example, than the everyday reality of math and finances and busyness and what's coming in on our phones. So the other day I had to drive somewhere for an appointment, and I was driving. It was very rainy, very wet. A lot of you guys up here on the West Coast are pretty familiar with how it's been a lot of rain lately. And just as I got to my appointment, this gigantic, huge rainbow came out over exactly where I was going to be going to. Just like a big rainbow, the kind of rainbow that you get to and you think like, I could actually step into this, or I could step into where the spectrum was coming down. Like I can be a part of whatever it is that's making this prism of energy. And I took it as a message at that moment that the appointment was going to go fine. But what I didn't know until later that day was that someone that I know had just passed away at that exact time. So taking this idea that, of course, we think when someone passes away, when someone transitions to the other side, that's just it. Mainstream is like, that's just how it is. Mystical view is, of course, it would be easy or common for them to send a sign to some people that they wanted to give a message to, or some way of saying goodbye or everything's okay. So mystic realm. So that was something that happened. And this idea of, everyone could argue like, well, that was just coincidence. That didn't really that didn't really matter. Those don't relate. There's rainbows all the time. Just because it happened at the same time that this person departed, that's not a correlation. Yeah, I can see that too. But as you start to go down this path of the mystic realm over and over and over, and sort of adapt your awareness to this idea that the actual world we live in is much more than what mainstream society tells us, then we start to open to these types of events, and we find that they're happening continually. Another curiosity that I've been thinking about, and I don't have an answer for this, I just want to bring it up, is that, and I know already some of you listening are going to be like, oh, there's no relation here, there's nothing. But there's something interesting about the fact that Prince Harry's book just came out, The Spare, and I haven't read the book. I haven't even watched any of the interviews. I just have the awareness that that has happened. And right now, Montecito, which is where he lives, is having these immense mudslides and flooding in the rains, the terrible rains. And I do not in any way think the weather is punishing Prince Harry, for example. But I do wonder if the amount of psychic, cosmic energy that has been focused on one person in the world, like much of the world is paying attention to this particular situation in this family, the royal family, and all of that energy pouring in does affect these weather cycles. Like, we are not separate from this, the air and the earth and the water and fire. We are not separate. And so when our collective consciousness is super focused on one thing, it's common for things to change. It's common for things to change. And I've just been sort of looking at that and wondering about, I don't have an answer, about how our consciousness affects the different things than we imagine. Again, it's not punishment. It may be non-relational in the way that I think, but there's something there. So I just invite you to think about all of these supposed random coincidences, that they're just not. They're part of the bigger oneness. They're part of the bigger oneness. I've been doing a lot of dance lately, and in dance, one of the ideas is, what you do with one part of the body affects all of the other parts of the body. If you lift your leg, the rest of your body adjusts. The world, the universe, the planet is one body. And so now we get to the point of, how are you contributing? How are you contributing? And this idea of the sensitives, the seekers, the witches, the pagans, the mystics, the shamans, the mediums, the psychics. I'm not sure if I've maybe the energy workers, the energy healers, the people that know how to work with crystals, the astrologers. Again, I probably left some categories out still. All of these people, all of us working in these other realms, how are we contributing? Because if ever there was a time to come forward and to step into our gifts and to begin to provide our gifts to the world, it's now. 2023 astrologically is going to be a remarkable year. This is when we're actually hardcore getting into Age of Aquarius. And so Age of Aquarius is all about humanitarian, equality, brotherhood, sisterhood, the group. And so this idea of contributing is something that's really important, because each of us, as unique as a raindrop, has this ability to contribute to the whole. And so the hermit mode, the isolation mode, the monk in the cave, the guru, or the monk in the convent, the guru in the cave, those days are over for now. That's not what's called for in this world that is really transitioning to new awareness, new consciousness. What is required, the call is out to contribute. And so maybe you contribute by just being more open about what your interests are. Maybe you contribute by, if you're a psychic, you contribute by offering readings to people. Maybe you contribute by participating in events. I don't know what it is for you, but this idea that the mainstream is the only way is incorrect. The mainstream is the mainstream, right? But there's all these other rivers that have value, and these are actually what is becoming the new evolution. So it is required by us as souls. What do we come here for in this evolution, right? We came here to make change, to help people evolve, to help people get off the old systems, the old ways of doing things based on separation and inequality. And so let's show up and let's not hide away. And it is frightening, especially if you're a person who's been disenfranchised. A lot of you guys listening are women, so there's that whole group, but there's lots and lots of groups who have been uncertain in the more mainstream, what society tells us who's in charge. It's been scary to be in that situation, but what is happening now is that this is opening up, and what is happening now is that we are moving towards a different kind of society. So again, it's time to begin contributing. And even if you can't, you're like, I'm super sensitive, I'm super psychic, I just can't go out and let people know who I am. But what you can do is you can be available for the friend that contacts you and needs you to listen, or the person that you pass on the street that you can provide energy to in support of their situation. You can contribute to this bigger idea of oneness, as opposed to hiding out and allowing the idea of separation, allowing the myth of separation to continue. Obviously, everything's connected. We can accept this. Everything is not only interdependent, but everything is connected as one. And when we see this, we don't have to be afraid of the neighbor or the person, we can understand that even though not all beings are at the same level of consciousness, this is where we're going. So the more we contribute, the more we share what we know, what we have felt, what we have discovered, what we have learned, the more we are making our way to that world more quickly. So again, it is Free Readings Tuesday. I'm going to go to the phones in just a second. You can call in for your free reading at 888-298-5569. That's 888-298-5569. And let's go to the phone. And we have Eve calling from San Francisco. Eve, welcome to the program.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi. Good.
I've been following you, and I'm also doing your 33 lessons.
Yes, I know exactly who you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've done so many of your wonderful offerings. I've been kind of out of it, but I have, I've spoken with you, and you know about my son, perhaps you remember, but do you see any opening up between my son and his wife and me anytime soon, or if I could do something to ease the situation, or do nothing? I mean, do you have any?
Yeah.
I kind of do, but maybe you do better. More.
Yeah. Well, so I know that when we discussed this a while back, I really didn't see that situation continuing as it is for very long. I think I'm surprised it's still going on, actually. Um, and I still think that's where it is. So I don't think that this will remain. But your role, and I don't actually remember what I said before about your role, but your role now seems to be really just, as hard as this is, just like letting it go. Like letting go of the worry about it, letting go of, is he going to return? I think there's a child, letting go of, where are they living, so and so, and just allowing this other soul that is your son, but it is another soul on their soul path, to like just let him have his soul path and not try to influence it. And that means dealing with your grief and like feelings of abandonment and feelings of loss, and just really sitting down and dealing with that. And of course, as it relates to your past too, just like one more time again of just like, oh, do I really have to go there again? It's like this is the pattern. Come forward to help you do it one last time.
Well, it is kind of working that. I am working.
Yeah.
And it does work that, yes. But I didn't quite hear what you said. You think that it's going to continue?
I think
like this for a while?
I think that I'm surprised that it isn't done now. So, but I don't think that this is the permanent situation. But I don't think you can speed up any kind of reunion with him. I think the fastest way to heal this situation is to release it completely and just be like, well, this isn't what I wanted. I have great love for my son. I just have to let it go. He's a soul on his path. I just have to let it go.
Yeah, I know he loves me too. I mean, he even wrote me that, but it's very strange. There's influence going on, so with his marriage, but
yeah, of course,
okay.
yeah. I'm sorry that I don't have a better answer. Like this will be wrapped up again, but the more you can just turn your attention to other things and just release this in love, I think the faster it will. Like taking your energy out of it is what's required in order to let things work themselves out as they're going to.
Thank you.
Yeah. And how are you doing with the weather in San Francisco?
It was like it's funny weather. It's like it was like pouring, and then the sun is out.
Yeah.
So I don't know with the weather. The weather is going to be. It's like this. It's continuing.
Yes, exactly. I know. It's your metaphor.
This weather is a reflection of like, oh, more rain, and it's going to continue for a couple of weeks. I see.
Yeah.
But it's okay in this area. It's in more rural areas that it's harder.
Yeah. The thing about this idea of how are you contributing that we've been talking about today, like you're so good with groups and people, and like just go contribute. Like let this rest for a while. Just go contribute other places. You'll have a lot of joy from that.
Right.
Yeah. People want to be around you, so go be around them.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Eve, I'm going to let you go because I have another person waiting. Thank you. Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks. So we have Elaine calling from Renton. Elaine, welcome.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What can I help you out with today?
Well, I have been having dreams about my ex-husband, and they're dreams where I'm very, I don't know, conflicting kind of dreams, and that's not normal for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a sign of something I need to worry about?
No, well, there's nothing to worry about at all. How long have you been divorced?
2 years in December.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine that usually dreams from another person, that you're divorced from or separated from or estranged from, it can often mean things aren't, there's another level of healing that needs to happen, which is probable. But it's more about, I have the feeling he's thinking about you. And so you're picking up on that in the dream world. So I don't know, do you know much about lucid dreaming or working with your dreams?
Not really, but I know that this is new. This just started like
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
yeah. Well, the holidays bring up a lot, New Year's bring up a lot, people are sorting through their levels of healing at different stages. So I would suggest that he's probably thinking about you. And if you want to think about him, you can. But if you're ready to be done with that, um, I would do some. You're probably familiar with some cord cutting and some energy work on that, and sort of just say, look, we're divorced. I don't need to think about you anymore. Please stop thinking about me and coming into my dreams. What does that feel like to you? Do you feel like you're ready to, or have you done that work, or are you ready to do that work?
I'm beyond ready.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
So
so it has to be him thinking about me. I've
yeah,
I've
I think
moved on
so.
from him.
Yeah, I think so. So I
Okay.
think there's doing some more cord cutting and just like even boundaries in dreams. Like, nope, you're not welcome here either. Sorry, man, out. And that should take care of it. Yeah,
Oh, okay, good.
yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely. Okay, thanks for calling in. Thank you. We do
Uh-huh.
have,
Bye-bye.
yeah, yeah, we do have time for another caller. If anyone wants to call in, 888-298-5569, 888-298-5569. And for those of you guys who are new to my work, I've been teaching, gosh, I think this is maybe the 12th year of actively teaching, and I've been doing this work since about 2000, so a long time. And I teach spiritual intuition, which is a way of using psychic development to expand yourself as a conscious being. The languaging I'm using is a lot of things around consciousness, awareness, noticing these ideas of oneness as opposed to being separated, and kind of the idea I like, my approach is that we don't have to be any certain way. You could be a soccer player who never had any religion. You could be a monk who was deeply involved in a particular religious practice. You could be a person who drinks whiskey and smokes cigarettes and, the so-called vices. You could be a person that's a vegan. There's not a lot of rules. In fact, there's no rules to consciousness. It's all about this awareness that there is something more beyond our limited, rational human experience. And by something more, I don't necessarily mean going all out there to the edge and talking about, the paranormal or extraterrestrials. I mean, that's interesting, but that there's, it's sort of like that's the far end. When we are in our normal lives, we can notice how the energy is flowing. We can notice the events that are happening. We can trust that we're souls in human form on this journey. And we can sort of participate with curiosity as to what's starting to happen in our lives, or how are we changing. We can notice these synchronicities or these events or these things that are happening, and we can start to pay attention to that as a broader way of looking at the world. And again, by mainstream, especially now, I'm talking about all this stuff that comes into our phones. We're what would they be like? We're supposed to be skinny. We're supposed to have a certain fashion. We're supposed to get our eyebrows bladed. We're supposed to make a certain amount of money. Maybe we're supposed to be influencers, whatever the heck that is. These are just sort of the things that come into our phone. We're supposed to worry about politics. And actually, our ability to have direct connection with the universe is continuous. It's just that sometimes we forget. And our ability to have connection with the universe is, it never stops. It's just sometimes we don't realize that this is allowed. We're so busy following along in the rules of society. So this is a way of looking outside the rules or beyond the rules, or saying that the rules aren't enough. I teach a lot. I have a lot of courses. So for you guys who are interested, you can go to the website sarawiseman.com. We've got a free mini course, The Magic of Blind Readings. That's a lot of fun and very interesting. We've got tons and tons of self-study courses that are low cost that you can participate in on your own schedule. And then we have the group training, which is such a delight, and been doing that for a long time, and really wonderful people show up to that. So there's lots of ways to learn more. If you're kind of like, there's got to be more. I want to do something different. I want to figure out how this whole universe works, and I don't know how to start. So this is a way of starting experientially and seeing what that's like for you. Thinking about, again, how are you contributing? Contribution can be big. You could make a movie or write books or run for office. Contribution can be big. You can contribute in your family level, all the ways that that's important. Contribution can be lovely. You can contribute to your friends or your people that you know. You can contribute by meditating upon the world. There's a Buddhist practice of Tonglen. You can work with that. You can just work on sending energy. You can contribute by paying attention to your own life, and you can contribute by working through your own past trauma, clearing it, and presenting yourself to the world as a new being, cleared of that. Many, many ways. I am Sarah Wiseman. Visit me at sarawiseman.com, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.